Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap. Hello Nilesh and hello to everyone, and today we have with us the RBI in news. Okay, we are going to do the RBI in news, that is all the news of RBI, that is all the notifications and the important notifications, the important news regarding the RBI we are going to cover in today's session, which is a weekend special in which we will be doing 100 best MCQs. Okay. So 100 best MCQs from the RBI news, and let me tell you that this is a very important section in the exam, in the phase 1, in the phase 2, in the interview also. This RBI news that contains the notification interview also. So this is very important. So now, before starting with the session, I will tell you that weekend special, these sessions have happened in the weekend special, that is about the general awareness about the banking and finance, government schemes and all, and today is the last weekend special. So if you have not seen these sessions also, you can have a better revision, you can have a good revision with all of these sessions, so you can see them and you will have a better revision. You will be able to know that how much you are able to answer, okay, how much questions you are able to answer, how fast you are able to answer. So now, before starting with the session, please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you are new to the channel, and join our Telegram channel for the PDF of this session, and you can get the link of the Telegram channel in the description box below. So as I told you that this section of the RBI news is very important, and I will show you that which questions have come, so that you can get the understanding that what kind of questions can come. Okay, so all of these questions, all of the questions that I will show you has come in the 2021 paper. Okay, so this is about the recommendations. So the recommendations, the guidelines are very important. The MSF and all the rates are very important. MSF, repo rate, reverse repo rate, all the rates, and recently the bi-monthly monetary policy committee has given all the percentages also. So it has become very important because recently in April only the percentages has come. Then the Reserve Bank of India, the NOF, that is net owned fund. This is very important. The net worth, the net owned fund, the asset, these all are very important. Okay. Then you have to remember the full forms. Absolutely, if RBI has come up with something, you have to remember the full forms, because direct questions can be asked from that. You have to have the basic knowledge about the percentages and about the what is MSF, what is CRR, SLR, all of these you have to have the basic knowledge, because these are policies under the RBI, okay, and you are giving the RBI exam, so basic knowledge is a necessity. Then whatever the RBI is releasing, the net owned fund, as I told you, and the digital payment index was released by the RBI, so a static question kind of has been asked by RBI. So these all are questions of 2021. These all are the questions of 2021, and these are the questions, these two are the questions of 2019. Okay, so you can see that net owned fund, net worth, and the present releases, the recent releases are very important, and in 2021 nearly 10 to 11 questions were asked directly from the RBI in the phase 1. In the phase 2 in 2019, 2 questions were there. In the 2021 in phase 2, there was 1 question from RBI, direct question was there. Okay, so if you do this session, then most of your notifications will be cleared. Okay, and for interview also you should have the understanding of the notifications and all. So now we will be starting with our question. So this is the first question, and I have shown you that why this question is important from the previous year question. We can relate that how the questions that I have made for today are relatable to the previous year questions, okay, the language and all. So recently in April 2022, Reserve Bank of India has decided to lower the net worth requirement of the non-bank Bharat bill payment operating units to rupees what? Crore from the current limit. So this is the current limit, and you have to tell that what RBI has decided to lower it to. And I have started getting the answer, and that is so good to see. Okay, and see, in the previous year also there was a question, as I told you, net owned fund is the very important, is very important. So net owned funds, you have to remember the net worth, you have to remember asset sizes, you have to remember. Okay, so okay, I have started getting the answer. Nilesh Ahmed is saying 25 crore, Alok is saying 25 crore, and that is the right answer. Currently the net owned fund is 100 crore. Okay, for the Bharat bill pay operating units that are non-bank. But it has been said that it is a very big thing that you are asking from the operating unit. So the RBI should lower it, and the RBI has decided to lower it to 25 crore. Okay. So I have also taken a session. If you do not know much about Bharat Bill Pay operating units and all, you can go and watch that session. So recently it has been lowered. The RBI has decided to lower it to 25 crore, and this decision was taken in the Monetary Policy Committee meeting that was held in April 2022. Okay, so this decision was one of the decisions taken in the Monetary Policy Committee. Recently, in March 2022, Reserve Bank of India has mandated what? To implement core financial services solution, a system akin to the core banking solution used by the banks by September 30, 2025. So the RBI has mandated which organization, which NBFC, which layer to implement it. To implement what? To implement CFSs and implemented by September 30, 2025. Okay, so I started getting the answer, and see, in the previous year also there was a similar kind of question that was there, that the RBI has started SEBI and for what it is there. Okay, SEBI is for what? So in similar lines, this question is there, that mandation is of the CFSs, that is similar to core banking, and the mandation is for the, I am getting the answers. Yes, Nilesh again is saying C, and Drishti is saying all NBFCs middle and upper. See, all NBFC in middle and upper is right, but with 10 or more fixed point service units, delivery units you should have, then it is a mandatory for you. So you have to remember two criteria. First, the NBFCs that are in the middle layer, that are in the upper layer with 10 or more fixed point service delivery units. So the right answer will be this one. Okay, I hope you will remember it now. So this is all. I have taken again a session on this one also. Any query you have, you can watch this session. And it has been said that the upper layer NBFCs have to ensure that the CFSs is implemented 70% by 2024, by September 2024. And for all the NBFCs, that is for the middle layer, that is for the upper layer, that have to implement it by 2025. 100% implementation should be done by 2025. But for the upper layer, 70% of the implementation should have happened for by 2024. Okay, so Drishti is saying yes, thank you. I hope you will remember it if it comes in exam also. So this was the circular. So next is dash has become the floor of the liquidity adjustment facility corridor as per the recent announcement by the RBI governor after the monetary policy meeting of April 2022. So this is very important because similar lines of question has been asked in the previous year also. It is a static question. You can say it is a current question. It is a static question. How it is the floor? Then there is repo rate. Then there is the MSF, that is marginal standing facility. So SDF will be lower. SDF is 3.75%. SDF will be lower than repo rate, that is 4%. Okay, it will be 0.25 lower. Then MSF is 4.25%. So MSF, the repo rate will be lower by MSF by 0.25%. This you have to remember. Okay, so that's why a kind of symmetry has come. A symmetry has come in the LAF corridor. Next is, recently the Reserve Bank of India has set up the Reserve Bank Innovation Hub in Bangalore to promote and facilitate the environment that accelerates innovation across the financial sector. Who has been appointed as the chairman of the RBIH? So RBIH also, okay, there is a lag, Abhishek is saying. So try to reconnect or try to refresh. Okay. So, okay, I have started getting the answer. You have to tell that who has become the chairman of the Reserve Bank Innovation Hub. So, this is a big step taken by the Reserve Bank of India to open a physical unit for the innovation to take place so that all the members of different segments can come together and innovate together. Okay, so yes, this is the right answer. D is the right answer. That is Sinapati Chris Gopalakrishnan is the chairman of the RBIH. Okay. Yes, very good Manisha, very good Vijay. You people are rocking it. You people are giving the right answer. Nilesh also. Okay, so I hope you will remember that he has become the chairman of the RBIH. RBIH is something that is a very unique step taken by the RBI for innovation, for bringing out innovation and financial inclusion. Next is recently in April 2022. So these questions will be from from September till April. In today's session, the questions will be from September till April. So it will be more important for you. Recently in April 2022, the RBI released the master circular on asset reconstruction companies to have all current instructions at one place, you have to tell that what is the net owned fund of the ARC. No asset reconstruction company can commence or carry out the business of securitization or asset reconstruction without having the net owned fund of not less than what crore. As I told you, net owned fund, net worth, asset size, very important, because direct questions have been asked in the previous year also. So you have to remember the net owned fund. Yes, okay, I started getting the answer. Dolly and Thaneshwar, Mohit, Manisha, Karishma, all are saying 100 crore. And that is the right answer. 100 crore is the net owned fund that needs to be there for the ARCs, for the asset reconstruction companies. There should be net owned fund of 100 crore to commence the operation, to start the operation. As per the recent Monetary Policy Committee meeting of April 2022, what should be the current fixed reverse repo rate? Okay, what is the current fixed reverse repo rate, that you have to tell. And in previous year MSF was asked the current MSF, and now you have to tell the current fixed reverse repo rate. Okay, as I have told you, current rates are very important, and recently the rates have been released by the Monetary Policy Committee, by the RBI, so it becomes important. Yes, Thaneshwar is saying 3.35, May, Raksha, Vijay, every one of you are correct, and that is 3.35%. The SDF is 3.75%, and repo rate is 4%. The reverse repo rate is 3.35%, and MSF and bank rate is 4.25%. Why I am telling you again and again? Because you need to take it into your mind and always remember it, okay? For the exam, until the exam I can say. It is 3.35%, Shivendra. Next is, recently in February 2022, the RBI released the statement on developmental and regulatory policies in which e-rupee was talked about. Which of the following statement is or are correct regarding e-rupee, that you have to tell. So try to see and try to tell the right answer of this one. So e-rupee is backed by the existing Indian rupee. This is correct. Okay, yes, I am getting the answer from Nilesh, Ahmed, Aditi. Yes, E is the right answer, all of the above. So e-rupee is backed by the Indian rupee. It is not a digital currency. E-rupee is a voucher that is backed by the Indian rupee. E-rupee beneficiaries do not need a bank account. It is a voucher. Wherever you go, you can use it. The digital payment solution has been developed with the support of DFS. So it is a payment solution that is developed by the DFS and NHA, and it is powered by the NPCI. It can be used for delivering services under Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Arogya Yojana also. So government is the one that usually gives it, and there can be other organizations also, private organizations also, that also provides it. So DFS is the Department of Financial Services, NHA is the National Health Authority, NPCI is the one that is authorized to look over it. It is a prepaid vouchers. Okay, you do not need internet connection and anything. Okay, it can be paid. Schemes like Ayushman Bharat, like the beneficiaries can get this voucher under these schemes. And you can, or financial safety, or financial frauds, financial transactions, or consumer education and protection only. Try to answer this one. Session is buffering a lot. Okay, Amardeep has said C. So here the right answer is C only, that is modus operandi of financial frauds. So this Be Aware or Beware was introduced, was a booklet that was brought out by the RBI, was released by the RBI, so that to bring awareness about the modus operandi of financial frauds, that how the financial frauds usually take place. Okay. So this was a booklet on modus operandi on financial frauds. Next is, recently in February 2022, the RBI has observed Financial Literacy Week 2022. You have to tell the theme of this Financial Literacy Week. Okay, try to answer this one. Okay, Okay, I am getting the answer go digital, go secure from Distri, Amardeep, Vijay, Manthan, and all of you are giving the right answer. That is the right answer. Go digital, go secure was the theme of this. Okay, yes, 14. Nilesh is saying from 14 to 18 Feb. That is correct. It was conducted from 14 to 18 Feb. And this was the theme, go digital, go secure, and this is the strategic objective of the NSFE also. NSFE, that is the National Strategy for Financial Education. Our question has come from this in the previous year. So now next question is, recently in March 2022 the RBI said microfinance lenders cannot charge usurious rate of interest from borrowers. You have to tell the definition of microfinance loan. Okay, so the microfinance loan is defined as a collateral free loan given to a household having an annual income of up to what? So the definition of microfinance loan has been changed. Before it was 2 lakh for the urban households and 1.25 lakh for the 1.2 lakh for the rural households, but now it has been changed to what? It has been changed, and I am getting the answer 3 lakh, and that is the correct answer. Nilesh, May, Akhil, all of you are doing good. Thaneshwar is saying 3, yes, Puneet is saying 3 lakh, and that is the correct answer. Drishti, everyone is giving the right answer. That is really good to see, and it is 3 lakh only. And you can see that this is the definition of microfinance loan. So again, recently Reserve Bank of India issued new directions for the microfinance lending and said that all entities, all the banks, all the NBFCs are subject to the same norms. In this, the maximum limit on microfinance loans by the NBFCs other than the NBFC microfinance institutions now stand at what percentage of their total assets as per the new guidelines. So what percentage of the total assets they can give as the loans in the microfinance lending. Okay, and I am getting the answer 25%, and that is the right answer. Absolutely correct. You people are rocking at it. So good to see that all of you are giving the right answers. Yes, A is the right answer. Nikhil, Akhil, all of you are saying right. Rahul is saying right. It is 25%. Before it was 10%. Before it was 10%. That is the NBFC. That is not the microfinance institution. The limit was 10% before. But now the limit has been raised to 25%. Okay, so this is important to see. This is important to remember also. And you have to remember one more limit, that for NBFC, MFI, the limit was 85% before, that they have to lend, they have to lend to the microfinance borrowers 85%, but now it has been reduced to 75%, that 75% of the NBFC MFI entities must qualify as microfinance institution loans against the 85% that was before. They had to before do the microfinance lending up to 85%, now they have to do up to 75%. Okay, remember this. Next is, recently the RBI issued new directions for microfinance lending. Which of the following are not among the benefits of the new directions for the microfinance lending? So try to analyze this question. This is a little analysis based. Try to answer this one. Okay, so I am getting the answer E, and let me tell you, E is not the right answer. Try to see this very carefully. E is not the right answer. All of the above is not the right answer. Okay, so let me start with the first. The new framework will address the issue of over-indebtedness and multiple lending. Yes, this is right. And Drishti is saying D, Nikhil is saying D, and D is the right answer. Okay, just see that what percentage will be provided. Okay, now can you all see the question? So this is the question, that RBI has announced auction of state government securities as per the scheme for non-competitive bidding facility. The government stock up to dash percentage of the notified amount of the sale of each stock. Okay, for the individuals it is. For the eligible individuals, what is the percentage of the non-competitive bidding facility? So here the right answer is 10% only. The government stock up to 10% of the notified amount of the sale of each stock will be allotted to eligible individuals. Okay, so the government stock of 10% is safeguarded for the eligible individuals. Institutions subject to a maximum limit of 1% of its notified amount for a single bid. For a single bid, 1% is the limit. For the total, 10% is the limit. So is it still buffering? So the next question for you is, the Reserve Bank of India launched a new unified payment interface payments solution for feature phone users dubbed UPI 123 Pay. Which of the following statement is or are correct regarding the UPI 123 Pay? This you have to tell that which of these statements is or are correct. Okay, so try to give the right answer of this one. Okay, I am getting the answer E, 2 and 3 only. So first statement is you have to tell the correct statement. Okay, so UPI 123 Pay is a two-step method. Okay, all of you have given the right answer. These two are the correct statements and this is the wrong one because it is not a two-step but a three-step method. Okay, so yes, E is the right answer. So first one is a wrong statement because it is a three-step method. So second is right because it doesn't need an internet connection. It is for the feature phones. It do not need the internet connection. Third is also right that the feature phone users will now be able to undertake a host of transactions based on 4 technology alternatives. So 4 technology alternatives are there for the feature phone users to able to undertake a host of transactions. Okay, in the UPI 123 Pay there are 4 technology alternatives. So only first statement was wrong and it is a 3-step method, that is call karo, choose karo and pay karo. Next question is linked to the previous one only. You know that there are 4 technology alternatives. You have to tell that which of the following is not one of the 4 technology alternatives. Okay, so try to give the right answer of this one. It is first, second, third, fourth or fifth one. 5-step method app based. Okay, I am getting the answer B. Ahmed is saying E. Drishti is saying E. And E is the right answer. Well done you both. Quick response code is not one of the methods to utilize the for the UPI 123 Pay. For the UPI 123 Pay, interactive voice response is there, app-based functionality is there, mixed call-based approach is there, proximity sound-based approach is there, payment is there, but there is no QR code scanning that they can do through this. And through the QR code they cannot pay. Okay, so yes, E is the right answer, absolutely correct. These four are the ways to enable UPI payment. To do the UPI payment through the UPI 123 Pay, QR code scanning is not available. Next is recently the Reserve Bank has launched which of the following 24/7 helpline to address the queries of digital payment users across products. So now you have to tell that which one of these is right. I hope you all will know that which is the 24/7 helpline that has been launched by the Reserve Bank of India, and I have started getting the answer. Manisha is saying DigiSathi, Ahmed is saying DigiSathi, and absolutely correct. DigiSathi is the right answer. That was launched by the RBI as a 24/7 helpline to address all the queries of the digital payments. Even if you have the query about credit card, debit card, QR payments, about any app, here every query will be answered through the toll-free number, through the short code, through the website also. So this is for the helpline. Next is As per the recent announcement by RBI in March 2022, which of the following shall be regulated and supervised as an IFI, that is All India Financial Institution, by the Reserve Bank of India under the Reserve Bank of India Act of 1934. So I hope you all know that which is the new institution that will be added in the IFI, because there were 4 institutions that were beforehand and now in March 2022 this has been added. So yes, Anupriya is saying NABARD, Nilesh is saying NABARD, yes, Sumiti is saying NABARD, and that is absolutely correct. NABARD is the one that is that has been added as the IFI, that is All India Financial Institution, in March 2022. Okay, recently only, so you have to remember this, and this has become the 5th IFI. Okay, before there was Exim Bank, that is Export and Import Bank was there, NABARD was in the IFI, NHB was in the IFI, SEBI was in the IFI, and now the NABARD has also become a part of the IFI. Next is, recently Reserve Bank of India clarified that it has laid down a cost-free grievance redressal mechanism, and in 2021 only, which involves no payment, no fee or charges. So which is the grievance redressal mechanism that RBI is talking about? Okay, that you have to tell. Okay, so Harshit is saying, see Harshit, from September we have taken only 2 or 3 news, because September is not very important, so only the very important notification has been taken from the September. Otherwise we are covering from September till April, September 2021 till April 2022. Okay, I have tried to bring the questions from April also, so that you have more questions and you are able to cover up more of the part, revise more of the part. And yes, integrated ombudsman scheme is the one. This is a very easy question, I must say, but in phase 1 we can expect easy questions also. Okay, so integrated ombudsman scheme 2021 was the one that is for the grievance redressal mechanism, and in November 2021 I guess it was released by the Prime Minister of our country. Okay, so next is, RBI has set up the RBIH as a Section 8 company under Companies Act 2013. What is the initial capital contribution in the RBIH? So capital contribution, the net owned fund, the net worth, all of these numbers are very important in RBI. So you have to answer this one. That what is the answer? What is the initial capital contribution? Okay, I am getting the answer from Amardeep, and he is saying 100 crores. Yes, I am getting mixed answers now. Some are saying 100, some are saying 150, but the right answer is 100 crore only. The RBI was the one that gave the that tried to give the initial capital contribution of 100 crore, and this RBIH is to encourage and nurture the financial innovation. Next is, which of the following payments bank has got the RBI approval for undertaking international remittance business under the money transfer service scheme? This was RBI that gave the permission, so I have brought this kind of question here also. But most of the banking news we have covered in my session of banking and financial awareness. Okay. So okay, I am getting the answer. Fino Payments, Manisha, Aditi, Alok. Very good, you guys. That is the correct answer. Fino Payment Bank is the correct answer. So next question is, recently, RBI Governor has laid foundation stone for the establishment of a dash of the Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited in Mysuru, Karnataka, which is the right answer. What has been laid foundation of? Okay, what has been established? You have to tell that. It is Minting Center, it is Learning and Training Center that has been established, or Learning and Development Center, or Minting and Printing Center. So BMR1 is saying Learning and Training Center. And I'm getting mixed answers. Some are saying C. Okay, who is saying C? Nilesh is saying C, Himanshu is saying C, Amardeep is saying C, Roshan is saying C, and that is the right answer. The Learning and Development Center is the one that has been, the governor has laid foundation stone for the establishment of the Learning and Development Center of the Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited, and this is established with active collaboration from the SPMCIL. Okay, so collaboration, who has launched it and who in under which it has been launched, all of this is very important. So I've tried to bring this. You will get the PDF also. You can read it also, okay, later on. So I have given you the most important information that Learning and Development Center has been launched under this, okay, and this has been launched in Mysuru, Karnataka. Okay, next is Okay. The Governor of Reserve Bank of India has inaugurated Dash Ink Manufacturing Unit of Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited. So you have to tell the name of the ink manufacturing unit. This was too much in news and it was okay. Puneet is saying C Vidya. Okay, Manisha is saying Varnika. Manisha is quite quick. That is good to see. Okay, and Nilesh is also saying Varnika. And Drishti, Akash, all of you are giving the right answer. That is Varnika, and that is the right answer. So well done, you guys. Varnika is the one that has been launched, and it is a ink manufacturing unit of Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited. Okay. Next is, what limit has been fixed by Reserve Bank of India for the way and mean advances for the first half of the financial year 23. So you can see that until September this has been set. Okay, this has been given for until September, so of course it won't change for these months. So this has high chances of coming in the exam if a data-based question comes. So okay, I am getting the answer B. Anupriya is saying B, AFS is saying B. Okay, and that is the right answer. It is 1,50,000 crore. This is the limit that has been told by the RBI. Okay, so WMA limit, that is ways and means advances limit for the government of India for the first half has been set up, and this is 1,50,000 crores. Next is, recently in March 2022, the RBI has introduced the framework for geotagging of payment system touch points. Which of the following statements is or are incorrect regarding the framework? So try to read the statements and then give the right answer of this question. So geotagging refers to the capturing the geographical coordinates by the RBI, is not for the ATMs. It is only for the POS terminals and for the paper-based soft QR. This is also right, that the reporting information to be sent through centralized information management system. So this is also correct. Only the C1 was wrong, and Anupriya was the one and Pranav was the one that gave the right answer. Even I don't know that why this buffer and the payment acceptance infrastructure details. Okay, again, see, the C was the wrong answer because it was only for the geotagging information is only for the POS terminals. It is only for the paper-based QR codes. It is not for the ATMs. Okay, so I have taken a session on this also, and the bank and non-bank PSOs will be collecting the geotagging information. And this geotagging information will be for the POS terminals and for the QR codes. This will be collected from merchant related information will be collected, and the payment acceptance infrastructure details will be collected. Okay. So now the next question is, recently the Reserve Bank of India released guidelines for the banks to open digital banking units in a bid to enhance the spread of digital modes of banking in India's interiors. Which of the following statement is or are incorrect regarding the guidelines related to the digital banking units? So you have to tell that recently it has been launched, and you have to tell that which of these statement is correct. So incorrect, sorry. Which of these statement is incorrect? So try to give the right answer of this one. Okay, so the guidelines will apply only to the scheduled commercial banks and regional. Okay, AFS is saying A, Aditi is saying A, Pratima is saying A, and A is the right answer. It is only for the scheduled commercial bank. It is not also for the regional rural banks or the other banks. It is only for the scheduled commercial banks. Other than the regional rural banks, the payment banks and the local area banks. Other information is correct, that the DBUs of the banks will be treated as banking outlets, and they will be differentiated in the terms of the offering of the design format, and the past digital banking experience will be permitted to open DBUs in the tier 1, tier 6 centers. So scheduled commercial banks, it will be seen that if they have past banking experience, digital banking experience, then they will be permitted to give the DBUs, digital banking units. They will be opening it in the tier 1 to tier 6 centers, and they will be treating as banking outlets. Okay, so the first statement was wrong. It is only for the scheduled commercial banks and not for the regional rural banks or the payment banks or the local area. Next is RBI has increased the limit for foreign portfolio investors to invest in the local debt market under the voluntary retention route by rupees 1 lakh crores to rupees dash lakh crores. So you have to give the right answer of this one. See, voluntary retention route is they are bringing their money and they are keeping it for a fixed time. They are keeping it for a time period instead of just bringing their money in our stock markets, in our markets, and then taking their money out. So it is voluntary retention route. So why do foreign investors come into the voluntary retention route and keep their money into our country for some time period? Because they get some benefits. They get some like they do not have to follow all the restrictions then. So okay, I am getting the answer C, 2.5, and that is the right answer, 2.5 lakh crore. So it has been increased from 1 lakh crore to rupees 2.5 lakh crore. So 1.5 lakh crore. This is the change that we can say. So how much it has increased by? So it has increased by 1.5 lakh crore, and it has become it has become 2.5 lakh crore. And voluntary retention route, they bring their money, the foreign investors bring their money and keep it into our country for some time period, and they get the benefit of being free from the macro-prudential and other regulatory prescriptions, and so they get benefits also. Next is, recently the Reserve Bank of India has exempted urban cooperative banks from the limit of dash % of a bank's total deposits for their investments in non-SLR securities if the investment made for subscribing of the capital of the EO. Okay, Divyansh is saying C, 10%. Okay, so how much percentage of total deposits can be kept in the non-SLR? This is the question now. If we break down the question is very typical, but if we break down the question, this is the question. So there was a limit of the percentage of the total deposits to be kept in non-SLR, and yes, it is 10%, it was 10%. And here you can see that there were two areas, that non-SLR investments of was limited at 10% of the bank's total deposits, as well as the investments in unlisted securities, that was also 10%. That was also limited at 10% of the total non-SLR investments. So here the base is total deposits, here the base is non-SLR investments, and both were limited at 10%. But it has been said that the RBI will be giving the leverage, will be giving the freedom, we can say, exempted from the limits if they are doing investment in the U. Okay. So, and here you can see in the previous notification of 2009, the limits were there. UO is the umbrella organization. Okay, if they are doing the investment in the umbrella organization, then this exemption will be there. And umbrella organizations are which? Here the umbrella organization name is also given, the National Federation of Urban Cooperative Banks and the Credit Societies. These are the umbrella organizations that came into being in 2019. So these are the important informations. Next is, recently the RBI came out with draft guidelines allowing primary urban cooperative banks to augment capital through issuance of equity shares, and this you have to tell that the UCBs will also be allowed to issue perpetual debt instruments, which will be eligible to be included in which tier of capital, and long-term subordinated bonds as dash capital. So tier capital or the equity share capital, which are the answer. So the perpetual debt instrument and the long-term subordinate bonds, the UCBs are allowed to take these instruments in which tiers? Okay, I am getting the answer C. Tier 1 for the perpetual debt instruments and Tier 2 for the long-term subordinated bonds. Suman and Nikhil, Rahul, Rajesh. Well done, you guys. You people are answering so well and so fast. I can't even comprehend that how much knowledge you people have. So that is really good to see. Yes, absolutely correct. Tier 1 capital is for the perpetual debt instrument eligible for inclusion in the Tier 1 capital, and the long-term subordinated bonds are eligible for Tier 2 capital, for coming under Tier 2 capital. Okay. Next is, recently in March 2022, the RBI extended the internet interest equalization scheme for pre and post shipment rupee credit for MSME exporters. Which of the following statement is or are correct? That you have to tell. Okay. So try to give the right answer of this one. So first is, this scheme has been extended till March 2024. The scheme will not apply to telecom instruments and entities availing the benefits under PLI scheme. So of course they are already availing the benefits under one scheme. So they will not be able to avail this benefits under other scheme. So interest equalization rates under the scheme have been revised to 3% and 4%. So this statement is wrong. The third statement is wrong. So the first and second statement is correct. First statement is correct, that it has been extended to March 2024, and the second statement is correct, that if they are taking the benefits of PLI scheme, they will not be able to take the benefits of the interest equalization scheme. The scheme will not apply to telecom instruments especially and the entities availing the benefits for the PLI scheme of the government. Okay, so the A, first and second are correct, and the third one is wrong because it is 2 and 3%. Okay. Here it was written 3 and 4%, that was wrong. And so I hope you understood the point. And this exporters get the subsidy under the interest equalization scheme. So it is specially for the exporters, especially for the MSME exporters to get the subsidy. Next is, recently the RBI has notified about inauguration of a new wholly owned subsidiary of RBI. You have to tell that which of the following is not a subsidiary of a RBI, a wholly owned subsidiary, which is not a wholly owned subsidiary. So recently the DICGC has been, the Reserve Bank Innovation Hub has been launched. This has been launched or released, and this has become the wholly owned subsidiary of the RBI recently. Yes, so Aditi and AFS is saying that NHB, that is National Housing Board, is not a wholly owned subsidiary of the RBI. So this is the wholly owned subsidiary, this also, and this also has recently been released and has become the wholly owned subsidiary of RBI. Only the National Housing Board. And why? Because in 2019 the RBI started taking out the investment it has done into the NHB. So from then the NHB is not a wholly owned subsidiary of the RBI. So these 5 are the wholly owned subsidiaries of the RBI. That you have to remember the name of these all. Yes, AFS is correct. Next is, Reserve Bank of India in its monetary policy meeting held on April 2022 has proposed to allow interoperability in cardless cash withdrawal transaction through which facility? Through the AEPS facility, through the NFS facility, through the UPI facility. So of course this is a very easy question. Yes, Nilesh Aditi is giving the right answer. The right answer is through the UPI facility. It has been said that all the banks, all the ATMs should have interoperable cardless cash withdrawal. Without the card, using the UPI facility, you can be able to take out the money. Interoperable means in one ATM of whichever bank, whichever card you have, whichever bank account you have, you can go in other ATM, like you have the bank account in SBI, but you can go to the Punjab National Bank ATM and you can take out the money, okay, without needing to use the card, only using the UPI facility. Very good. Next is, recently the Reserve Bank of India conducted a $dollar rupee swap auction. We have already discussed a lot in my YouTube session about the rupee swap auction that was against the dollar. Okay, dollar swap option. So in which the dollar was given in the market and rupee was taken from the market by the RBI so that the excess liquidity that is revolving in the economy can be reduced. Okay, that is by taking out the money, the RBI took the rupees and gave the dollars because the depreciation was happening, so the supply of dollar reduced that depreciation. So yes, I am getting the right answer, that is $5 billion. $5 billion swap was there done by the RBI. Next is, recently the RBI opened allotment of investment limit under the VRR for investments. You have to tell the minimum retention period under the VRR. So I told you that the investors have to keep their money in India for some time period. Now you have to tell that how much time period they have to keep their money under the VRR. Thank you so much, Autovlogs. Really nice to hear. I am really sorry for the buffering that is happening in the middle, but I hope you all are liking the session, okay? Do tell me in the comment section box also that did you like the session or not. Okay, I am getting from Akash, Porush. They are saying 3 years, and that is right. The minimum retention period under the BRR is 3 years. That the foreign investors have to keep their money into the country for at least 3 years. Okay. So yes, recently the amount has been increased also from by 1.5 crores as I told you, and it has become the 2.5 crore. Because before it was 1 lakh crore only, so it has become 2.5 lakh crore now, and it is the minimum retention period is for 3 years. Next is, and it is for first come first serve, so it is a kind of slogan that they use. RBI has eased up factoring regulation rules to enable more firms to participate in the business. Dash asset size is defined by the RBI for the NBFC, ICC, investment and credit companies to get the permission to become a factoring business. Okay, so which asset size they should have to become a factoring business to undertake the factoring business. See, factoring business is what? That you are getting the invoices, like I am a MSME, okay, I am a MSME, I have sold my things to the consumer, but the consumer is saying that raise the bill invoice, but I won't be able to pay, I will be paying after 2 months. What will the MSME be doing? Okay, because it is a small organization, it is a small institution, so the MSME will take the money from the factoring, from the NBFC factor, right now, and the NBFC factor will give the money in discount rate. If the bill is of 1 lakh, the NBFC factor will give only 90,000, let's say. Okay, and after 2 months, the NBFC factor's responsibility is to take the money from the customer. Okay, so this is how the MSME will be benefiting. That right now, if it needs the money, it can raise the bill invoices and take the money from the NBFC factor. And I am getting the answer 1,000 crore and above. And that is the right answer. NBFC, ICCs, that is the investment and credit companies, they will be able to take the factoring business if they have asset size of 1,000 crore or above. Okay, as well as before there were only 7 factoring companies. So that's why it was a very big difficulty that was there for the MSMEs to raise the bill and all. So now after the ICC also will be able to take the factoring business, so more factoring NBFCs will be in the country. Okay, so this is the whole chart. Factoring is a financial service in which the business entity sells, MSME we can say, sells its bills receivables to a third party. Third party is the NBFC factor, and at a discount in order to raise funds, in order to take the funds right now. Okay, next is recently in January 2022, the RBI issued regulations under the amended Factoring Regulation Act 2011. The act permits trades to file the particulars of assignment of receivable transactions with the central registry. Which of the following statement is incorrect regarding trades? So, as I was telling you about the NBFC, ICC, they will be taking the factoring business. They will be undertaking the factoring business also. So they will be filing their bill receivables, that how much amount of bill receivables we have achieved. So this will be done under the trades. Okay, to file the particulars of assignment of receivables. So trades is a online platform that I can tell you that it is an electronic platform through which the NBFC factor usually file the assignment, how much assignment of the receivables they have taken. In the central registry, they put all of this through the trades. So yes, D. Okay, all of you are saying D, and that is the right answer. D is incorrect. Why D is incorrect? Because it is not the Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation. It is the Consumer Protection and the Consumer Protection Department, the Consumer Education and Protection Department. So yes, Akash, Amardeep, Nilesh, not Akhil, all of you gave the right answer. It is not under the Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee. It is under the Consumer Education and Protection Department. Okay, so the first line is correct. It is electronic platform through which the factor NBFCs are putting their bill receivables transactions. TREDS help in facilitating the financing or discounting of trade receivables of MSMEs through multiple financiers. It facilitates the discounting of both invoices that is coming, the bill of exchange that is coming. But this was the wrong statement, D. So here you can see that yeah, the RBI, it has been set up under the regulatory framework set up by the RBI under the Payment and Settlement Systems Act. Okay, so it is under the Payment and Settlement System Act. Oh, it is okay. Here it has been asked under the which act. So yes, it is not under the Consumer Protection because this is the department. It is under the Act of Payment and Settlement System. So that was a mistake by my end. Yes, I was telling you the department. I confused it with the department. It is not the department. It is Payment and Settlement System Act that is there. Okay. So next is recently in February 2022, the RBI released the statement on development and regulatory policies. You have to tell that it has been mentioned that RBI will increase the National Automated Clearing House mandate limit for trade receivables discounting system settlements from rupees 1 crore to the present of to how many rupees? Okay, so the limit has been raised from 1 crore to what limit? Nilesh and Aditi are saying 3 crores. Okay, so the NASH limit has been raised, that is the National Automated Clearing House limit has been raised from the 1 crore to 3 crore, and the TREDS facilitates the financing of trade receivables of the MSMEs, and the RBI increased the NASH mandate limit for the TREDS from 1 crore to the 3 crore to help the MSMEs so that they can raise the funds faster and easily. Okay. Next is recently the RBI has released Digital Payments Index for September 2021. Which of the following statement is correct regarding the DPI, that is Digital Payment Index? So the Digital Payment Index was released in January 2022. So as I told you, as I have shown you in the previous slide, that there was a question about DPI in the previous session also, in the previous exam also of RBI Grade B. So this is an important index released by the RBI. So which of these is correct? You have to tell which of these statement. And Nilesh is saying D, Aditi is saying D, and that is correct. This is wrong because it is not 2019. The base year is 2018. The index for September 2021 stands at 304.06. So this is also wrong. The 40% year-on-year growth has happened, so this is also wrong. This is correct because RBI DPI index continues to demonstrate significant growth in the adoption and deepening of digital payments across the country. You can see that 40% year-on-year growth has happened. So that is a big thing. Okay, so base year, as I told you, is 2018, and all the other information you can see. Okay. Next is which of the following parameter has the highest weightage in the digital payment index? So these five are the basis or the background of the index of the digital payment index. They are the basis of the digital payment index. You have to see that which of these have the highest weightage in the index. Okay, I am getting the answer D. And yes, that is the correct answer. Nilesh, Aditi, Akhil, Rajesh, all of you are giving the right answer. Payment performance is the one that has 45% and has the highest weightage in the index. Okay, it is 45%. Then there is the other percentages that is given. Next is recently in January 2022, the RBI has released framework for facilitating small value digital payments in offline mode. Okay, in January the statement came that the overall limit will be 2000, and what will be the per transaction limit? In the offline mode, what will be the per transaction limit? That you have to tell. Again, I am getting very quick answers from Nilesh and Aditi and they are saying 200. Other people also try to answer very fast, because the exam will carry 80 questions of general awareness, and you have to read the questions at least to answer. So you have to be very fast. Okay, Nikhil, Akhil, all of you are giving the right answer, 200. Aman is also saying 200. Amardeep, yes, that is the right answer. 200 per transaction limit is there. 2000 overall limit is there. If you have to renew the 2000 limit, then you have to do it online. Okay, in the offline transaction, per transaction is 200 and overall limit is 2000. Next is, recently the RBI released the name of applicant under the guidelines for the on-tap licensing small finance bank. You have to consider the following statement regarding major changes from the earlier guidelines that has happened to the small finance bank. You have to tell the incorrect statement in these about the small finance bank. Okay. So minimum paid up voting equity capital net worth requirement shall be rupees 200 crore. This is correct. Okay. The SFBs will be given a scheduled bank status after 2 years of commencement of operation. This one is wrong. Okay. Nilesh is saying E, Pranav, AFS is saying A and B. This is incorrect. This is correct. The minimum paid up voting equity capital for the SFB should be 200 crore only. Second statement is correct, because the SFB will be given the scheduled bank status as soon as it starts the operation, commencement of the operation. There is no lag of 2 years that is needed. Payment bank can apply for conversion into SFB after 5 years. This is also correct. Payment bank can become SFB after the 5 years of operation. So this is wrong. Only the B statement is wrong. In here you can see the guidelines, that is 200 crore is the minimum paid up capital. The SFB, the payment bank can apply for conversion into SFB after 5 years of operation. The 3 years that Himanshu is saying, see, the internal recommendation came, but still it is 5 years only. Okay, the internal working group recommendation came regarding the 3 years, that the payment bank should become the SFB in 3 years, but that was rejected, and the RBI said that still keep 5 years. 5 years you have to do. Okay. SFB will have general permission to open banking and scheduled bank status immediately upon commencement of operations. So only the second statement was wrong. Yes, Akash, B was right. So now, a primary urban cooperative bank that is desirous of voluntarily transitioning into small finance bank, initial requirement of net worth shall be dashed. So it is for the UCBs. What should be the initial? Then after 5 years, what should be the limit? Okay. So you have to tell the initial requirement of the net worth. What should be the net worth in the initial state, and after the 5 years, what should be the net worth? Okay, I am getting the answer B. Aditi is also saying B. The right answer for this one is C rather than B. Okay, for the primary urban cooperative banks, the initial capital should be 100. Initial net worth should be 100 crore, which will have to be increased to rupees 200 crore within 5 years. Not after 5 years, within 5 years, the limit has to be increased to, yes, Nikhil is saying D. Yes, D is the right answer. Sorry, not D. C is the right answer. Okay, 100 to 200. Initial 100, then it has to be increased to 200 crore. Okay, on the similar lines, this question has been made from the previous year question. So such kind of question can come. You have to remember the capital requirement, net owned fund, net worth. All of these are very important. Next is, recently in December 2021, the Reserve Bank released the 24th issue of the FSR, that is the Financial Stability Report. You have to tell that as per the report, the capital to risk weighted asset, that is CRAR, or we can say that CAR, that is the capital adequacy ratio of the scheduled commercial bank, rose to a new peak of what? Capital adequacy ratio raised to what peak? am getting the answer A. Pin, the Akhil, Aditi, Nikhil, all of you are giving the right answer. 16.6%. It has been raised to 16.6%. Okay, CRAR or the capital adequacy ratio. Do not get confused between the two. Next, what is the estimated gross non-performing asset ratio of India's scheduled commercial bank by September 2022 under the baseline scenario? Try to give the right answer of this one. It is the estimation for the September 2022. Give the right answer of this one. Nilesh is saying C, and that is the right answer. 8.1% is the right answer. That is estimated gross non-performing asset by September 2022. It will become 8.10%. This is all the major highlights of the Reserve Bank of India FSR report. That is, you can see CRAR 16.6%, and in the baseline scenario by September 2022 it will be 8.1%, and it will be 9.5% under the severe stress scenario. So September 2022 it is 8.1%, but it can become 9.5% if there is severe stress. Okay, so these are the important highlights. Next is according to the recently released report on trend and progress of banking in India 2020-21, the dash of the state cooperative banks and district central bank cooperative banks improved in 2019-20, and which deteriorated. So which profitability or asset quality, or what was the thing or the CRAR or the capital conservation, what was the thing that was better and what was the thing that deteriorated in 2019-2020. So this you have to tell. Okay, I am getting the answer from Himanshu. Profitability and asset quality, and that is the right answer. The profitability of the state cooperative banks and district central banks improved in 2019-2020, but the asset quality deteriorated. Okay, this was in the report, and I have made a session on the important points of the report. Next is, recently RBI has released the FSR, and you have to tell the important, the incorrect statement with reference to Financial Stability and Development Council. So the RBI released the FSR report, and this was by the assessment of the subcommittee of the Financial Stability and Development Council. You have to tell this if the statements are incorrect or correct regarding the Financial Stability and Development Council and not the subcommittee. Okay, so Nilesh is saying C, and that is the right answer. This is incorrect. Why this is incorrect? Because the chairman of the council is the union, is the minister, not the RBI governor. Okay, it is the finance minister. So council acts as a coordination agency between the various financial sector regulators, so that is correct. The council monitors macroprudential supervision of the economy, correct. Financial Stability and Development Council was set up by the government. It is also correct. Only this is wrong. So here, as you can see, yes, the finance minister is the chairperson. And who is the chairperson of the subcommittee? Subcommittee of the financial FSDC. The subcommittee, who is the head of the subcommittee? Who can tell me? Subcommittee is the one that is assessing and that is making the report of the FSR. So who is the head of the subcommittee? Yes, Nilesh is saying RBI governor. RBI governor is the one that is the head of the subcommittee. Okay, and subcommittee is important because it is the one that is releasing the FSR. The FSDC's chairperson is Union Finance Minister. Yes, RBI governor. Very good. Next is, recently the RBI has released the Brics Economics Bulletin. You have to tell the theme of the bulletin. Okay, what was the theme of the bulletin? Very easy to answer. You have to only tell the theme. Okay, so here the right answer for this one is A, because navigating the ongoing pandemic. So that is the right answer. Okay, here in such kind of notifications and which kind of news, only theme or important points are important. Okay, next is, recently the RBI has allowed small finance bank and payment bank to do the agency bank to conduct government business, and you have to tell that what percent of credit small finance banks have to give to priority sectors. Small finance bank have to give what percent to priority sectors. And what are the agency banks? Agency banks are the banks that are doing the government business, that are collecting the taxes on the behalf of the on behalf of the government, or they are collecting the tax on giving the pensions on behalf of the government. And this is usually the work of RBI. So RBI is the one that select the agency banks. 75%, Akash, Anupriya, Drishti, all of them are saying 75%. That is correct. So small finance bank will be required to extend 75% of its existing net bank credit AN, BC to the PSL, priority sector lending. Okay, so here you can see the regional rural banks, the small finance banks, 75% of the AN, BC or the CEOB. Next is the Reserve Bank of India has decided to bring NBFCs under the ambit of the PCA, because more regulations were needed for the NBFCs also. So which of the NBFCs can come under the PCA framework, that you have to tell. Which of these NBFCs can come under the PCA framework? Okay, I am getting the answer A and D from Himanshu. Aditi is saying A, Nikhil is saying E, Parash or AFS is saying A and D, but the right answer for this one is A only. Okay. Primary dealers and the government companies, they are not. Primary dealers and government companies, they both shouldn't be coming. Let me see. Okay, so here they both will not be coming under the PCA framework. Why this is also not coming under the PCA framework? Because all non-deposit taking NBFCs, they are not. Because all the non-deposit taking NBFCs that are in the middle layer and that are under the upper layer, they are the ones only that can come under the PCA framework. The NBFCs that are under the base layer, that have the asset size less than 1000 crore, they cannot come under the PCA framework. So this was also wrong, this was also wrong, this was also wrong. Only A is the correct answer. Okay. So I hope you have understood that government companies, the primary dealers cannot come under the PCA framework, as well as the non-deposit taking NBFCs that are under the middle layer, upper layer, they can come under the NBFCs, but that are under the base layer, that have the asset size less than 1000 crore, they cannot come under the PCA framework. Next is, which of the following NBFC is or are exempted from the norms of PCA framework? So we have seen that the government companies have been exempted from the PCA framework. The primary dealers have been exempted from the PCA framework. From these, the NBFC base layer have been exempted from the PCA framework. So from these, which companies are exempted? Nilesh is saying D. Himanshu is also saying D, and that is right. Housing finance companies are the one that is exempted from the PCA framework. So here you can see that excluding, the exclusion is of government companies, primary dealers and housing finance companies. So these three are excluded, and I have made a PCA framework, I have made a session on the PCA. So if you have any query, any confusion about the PCA framework, you can go and watch that. Okay, housing finance company. Yes, Manisha, correct. Next is, as per the PCA framework for the NBFCs excluding CICs, CICs have a PCA, they can come under the PCA framework, but the regulations are different for the credit insurance companies, credit investment companies, core investment companies. Okay, so the rules are different for the CIC, and so that is why excluding CIC, you have to tell that what is the regulatory minimum requirement for the CRAR and the tier 1 capital ratio. Okay, I am getting the answer A from Nilesh, Aditi, Himanshu, Nikhil. Yes, well done you guys, that is the correct answer. 15% is the regulatory minimum for the CRAR and 10% is the regulatory minimum for the tier 1. Okay, RBI regulatory minimum 15% for CRAR, 10% for the tier 1 capital ratio. Next is, you have to tell that which of these following is incorrect, is correct. Which of the following is correct, this you have to tell, or which of the above statement is correct, this you have to tell. There is threshold second can be less than 12% but greater than 9%. Risk threshold 1, this, or risk threshold 3 NNPA should be greater than 12%. Okay, Anupriya is saying C is correct. C only 3. See, this is correct. Absolutely, this is correct. Okay, D. Yes, this is also correct. So the right answer will be D. Aditi Porosh has said D, first and third, and that is the right answer. The first one was correct because for the second risk threshold, it should be between 12% and 9%, and for the NNPA, the threshold 12%, above 12% will be in risk threshold 3. Okay, so the first and third statement was correct. Here you can see for the NBFCs, deposit taking, non-deposit taking, these are the rules, and for the CICs, different rules are there, but there are rules for the CICs also. Next is, you have to tell that under the mandatory actions, which of these statement is correct. Okay, so if they are in risk threshold 1, this will be the mandatory action. If they are in risk threshold 2, this will be the mandatory action. If they are in risk threshold 3, this will be the mandatory action. So which of the following matches is or are correct under the mandatory actions as per the risk threshold? So if the NBFC is coming under the PCA framework, there will be some steps taken by the RBI, so they will be put in mandatory action. Mandatory action they have to do under the RBI. So if they are in risk threshold 1, that is not very risky, what actions they will be taking? If they are in risk threshold 2, that is they are risky. If they are in risk threshold 3, if they are very risky. So is this mandatory actions correct? Okay, this tree is saying C. You have to tell correct one. Drishti, you have to tell the correct one. Yes, Nilesh is saying 1 and 2 are reverse statements. So yes, that is correct. In the first one, dividend distribution and remittance of profit. So if you are in the risk threshold 1, the restriction will be on the profits, on the profit distribution, on the dividend distribution, and in the second threshold, the branch expansion will be restricted. So that is in the risk threshold 2. Only the correct one was the third one, that is appropriate restrictions will be put in the capital expenditure. So third statement was correct. Yes. Okay. So that you have to be very careful of. Okay. As well as the RBI will track the 3 indicators: CRAR, Tier 1 capital, net non-performing assets, including the NPIs, non-performing investment also. Assets, loans that they have given and that is not coming back, that is not non-performing asset, and non-performing investment also. So these are the 3 indicators, and the PCA framework for the NBFC will come into effect from October 1, 2022. Next is, as per the internal working group recommendation, the promoter's stake from the current levels of 15% to 20% has been raised, and you have to tell that the initial lock-in requirements will continue as minimum what percentage of the paid up voting equity share capital of the bank for first 5 years. So this you have to tell. Okay, I am getting the answer 40, and that is the correct answer, minimum 40%. Yes, the lock-in clause for states promoters must hold at least 40%. So if you have started a bank, if a private sector bank you have opened up, so at least 40% of the stakes you need to have until for the 5 years. Otherwise, who will trust your bank? Okay. So for 5 years, you have to keep your 40% stakes in the bank so that the bank can be trustworthy. Okay, and these guidelines were for the private sector banks. Yeah, Indian private sector banks. Okay, and the promoter stake can be up to 26%. So these were the recommendations, and as I have shown you in the starting of the session, the recommendations were directly asked in the phase 1. In the phase 1, the internal working group recommendations were asked, and now which recommendation have been accepted, which have not been accepted, that you have to remember, because like someone was confused about 3 years now. But it is not accepted. This was a recommendation of the internal working group, but still the payments bank need 5 years to become the SFB. So now you have to tell that for an NBFC intending to convert into a universal bank, minimum requirement of at least how much years of track record of experience will be needed. It is 5 years of experience, 3 years of experience, 10 years of experience, 8 years of experience, or 25 years of experience. Okay, so 10 years of experience is right for the converting NBFC, 10 years for the universal bank, 5 years for the SFBs, and you can see that the accepted with the modification, that is the payment banks will still need 5 years of experience to convert into the SFB. Next is, recently November 2021, the RBI has released a status update on Payment Infrastructure Development Fund. Which of the following statement is or are incorrect, that you have to tell. Okay. Implementation of targets shall be monitored by the RBI with assistance from card networks, RBI and PCI. This is correct. The objective is also correct, to subsidize deployment of payment acceptance infrastructure. This is also correct. The fund will be operational for 6 years. This is wrong. It is not for 6 years. Okay. The entire initial corpus is funded by the RBI and the major authorized card networks. This is also correct. So only C was the wrong answer, because it is operational for 3 years and may be extended to 2 more years. So it is not 6 years. Next question is, you have to tell the theme of this year's report of the state financing, a study of the budget 2021-22. So here, see, we will try to go very fast because the section is becoming very lengthy and we have to give the quick answers, and we will try to go quickly now. Okay. So here the right answer is B. The theme of this year report is coping with pandemic, a third tier dimension. Next is, in December 2021, the Reserve Bank of India has made legal entity identifier mandatory for cross-border transactions. LEI is mainly enforced for cross-border deals of above what? So for the transactions, what will be given? A number will be given. LEI, the legal entity identifier, will be given for the cross-border transactions that is happening, the capital account transactions or the current account transactions, whatever it is. If it is cross-border transaction, yes, I am getting the answer from AFS Anupriya, Nilesh. 50 crore is the right answer. If the cross-border transaction is of 50 crore then or more, then the cross-border, then the LEI will be given. Okay. To improve the quality and accuracy of the financial data systems and strengthen the risk management capabilities, so that you can recognize through that LEI that how many entities are involved in one transaction, or this company is involved with what other companies. So that is why legal entity identifier is provided. So you have to see these statements about LEI and try to give the right answer. That is which is correct. So LEI is a number used to uniquely identify parties to financial transactions worldwide. This I have just told you, that to identify the companies and all. This is a 20-digit number. Is it correct or not? It is capital account transaction, and for current account transaction, it will be implemented from October 2022. So we have 100 questions. So we will go a little fast now. So all of the above statements are correct. It is 20-digit number. It is our global LEI database is there, and it is for current account transactions also. It is for the capital account transactions also. Okay, yes, all of the above. So I have taken a session also. If you are confused about LEI, you can go and watch that session. Next is MSF is there, that RBI has instructed banks to return to normal dispensation related to MSF. So you have to tell that which of these statement is correct regarding the MSF. That MSF rate plays no role in determining the corridor for the daily movement of the call money average. MSF is a facility under which scheduled commercial banks cannot borrow overnight money from the RBI, or banks will be able to dip into the SLR up to 2% of the net demand and time liabilities instead of 3% for overnight borrowing under the MSF with effect from January 1, 2022. So I am getting the answer C. You have to tell the incorrect statement. Yes. So yes, C is the correct one. Nilesh is saying C, and that is correct. This one is wrong, because of course MSF is a part of the LAF corridor, and MSF is the one that determines the corridor. Okay, that helps in determining the corridor, or that helps in the knowing the daily movement. So MSF is the is under the scheduled commercial banks in which they can borrow under emergency situation in the overnight. And this is the, so these two statements were wrong and this is correct. So from now on, accordingly, banks will be able to dip into the SLR, will be able to dip the SLR up to 2% of the NDTL only instead of 3%. Okay, so now this has been said. Next is, who was the working group was conducted, was made, and on the digital lending, including lending through online platforms, you have to tell that who was the chairman of this working group. So it was P.K. Mohanty, Jayant Kumar Das, Jay Narayan Patel, P.K. Malhotra or N.S. Vishwanathan. So the right answer for this one is Jayant Kumar Das. He was the head of the committee of this of this working group. Okay. Yes. Next is, RBI has announced to establish Dash, which is a web-based end-to-end workflow automation system platforms to strengthen compliance by supervised entities. So which of these has been launched or released by the RBI? So okay, I am getting the answer B and that is correct. Prism is the one that is correct. Okay, so it is platform for regulated entities for integrated supervision and monitoring. So RBI has brought it for the regulated entities to increase the level of the supervision on these regulated entities. Next is very easy question. RBI has launched which of the following innovative customer-centric initiatives with a view to expand the scope for investment and improve customer grievance redressal mechanism. So in November 2021, as I told you, the Prime Minister of our country released two schemes and he launched two schemes, and that was, the schemes were for the investment. One scheme was for the investment. The second scheme was for improving the customer grievance redressal mechanism. So it was both, first and second, both. First one was for the investment, second one was for the grievance redressal mechanism. You have to be very careful when you read the question, okay? Next is, RBI introduced an internal ombudsman mechanism for select NBFC, deposit taking NBFCs with 10 or more branches and non-deposit taking NBFCs with asset size of what must appoint internal ombudsman. So you have to tell the asset size, that what should be the asset size that needs to appoint the internal ombudsman. Okay, I am getting the answer D, 5,000 crore, and that is the right answer. So if it is a deposit taking NBFC that have 10 or more branches, then it has to hire the internal ombudsman. And if it is a NBFC, non-deposit taking NBFC with asset size of 5,000 crore or above, it must have an internal ombudsman as per the RBI. Next is, choose the incorrect feature regarding recently launched RBI's integrated ombudsman scheme. So I know that you all must know this, that what are the features of the integrated ombudsman scheme. Okay, so you have to tell the incorrect feature. So first one is, the scheme is a consumer-centric initiative, that is correct. Reserve Bank Integrated Ombudsman Scheme aims to further improve the grievance redressal mechanism. Of course, that is correct. The central theme of the scheme is based on one nation, one jurisdiction with one portal, one email, one address for the customers to lodge their customers. Is this correct? Nilesh is saying this is not correct because the one nation, one ombudsman is there. Okay, one portal, one email, one address means one nation, one ombudsman. This is also correct that the CRPC, that is the centralized reporting portal, has been set up for the centralized handling of all the complaint receipts, and this is what we call one nation, one jurisdiction, not this. Okay, so C was the wrong statement. CRPC is centralized receipt and processing center, and one nation, one ombudsman for the one portal, one email, one address. Okay, yes. Next is, again you have to choose the incorrect statement regarding the RBI's integrated ombudsman scheme. I want you to memorize all the features, that's why I have brought these kind of questions, so that you remember all the features. Okay. So the scheme is launched for the non-banking financial company, banks and prepaid instrument players, that is correct. Scheme will amalgamate Banking Ombudsman 2006, NBFC Ombudsman 2018 and Ombudsman Scheme of Digital Transactions 2019, that is also correct. First centralized jurisdiction neutral receipt and processing center is set up in Chandigarh. That is also correct. Executive Director of the Department of the Information Technology of RBI will be the appellate authority of the integrated scheme. This is wrong. As I told you, I told the consumer education and protection in the department in that question, but here is this is the right answer. Executive Director of the Consumer Education and Protection Department will be the appellate authority of the integrated ombudsman scheme and not the Department of Information Technology. Okay, so this is the minute point that you have to remember. These are the amalgamation of the schemes. These are the RBI integrated ombudsman scheme will be applied to these, and these are the other points. Okay, multilingual toll-free number will be there. The director will be of the Consumer Education and Protection Department. Next is you have to tell with reference to retail direct scheme which of the following statement is correct. This you have to tell. That retail direct scheme is a one-stop solution to facilitate investment in government securities by individual investors. So you have to tell that which of the following statement is correct. So try to see. So first one is correct, that one-stop solution to facilitate investment in the government securities. Yes. Retail investors will be allowed to open retail direct deal accounts directly with RBI. That is also correct because the RDG accounts are through which you can have the government securities. So they can directly have the RDG account with the RBI. All government securities including state development loans are available to the users. That is correct because it is for the government securities. A dedicated online portal will provide registered users access to negotiated dealing system order matching system. That is also correct. There will be a dedicated online portal. So all of the above is correct. Now you will ask what is this NDSOM? It is a screen based electronic anonymous order matching system through which you can match the order. So it is provided to the presently the membership through the system is open to the entities like banks, insurance companies and all. Okay. Next is okay, so the sovereign gold bond, the RBI has released a notification on the premature redemption of the sovereign gold bond. You have to tell that which of the following statement regarding the sovereign gold bond scheme is incorrect. Okay. So the first statement is the objective is to reduce the demand for physical gold and shift a part of the domestic savings into financial savings. Nilesh is saying minimum 1 gram and that is correct. It is not 1 kg, it is minimum 1 gram of gold. That is the minimum permissible limit. Aditi AFS, very good. 10 grams, sorry, 1 gram, not 1 kg. Okay, 1 gram, not 1 kg. Its maturity period is of 8 years and you can exit after 5 years. And the fixed rate of 2.5% per annum is there for the scheme. It is restricted for the Hindu and undivided families, for the trust, universities and charitable institutions. Here you can see all the launched when objective and all, and it is 1 gram of gold, that is the minimum permissible investment. Next is you have to tell that hackathon name RBI has launched is first global hackathon with the theme Smarter Digital Payments. So what is the name of the hackathon? It is 1 gram, not 10 grams. Okay, so what is the name of the hackathon? It is Harbinger. Nilesh is saying Harbinger 2021 Innovation for Transformation. That is absolutely correct. Okay, so this was the first global hackathon, Harbinger Innovation for Transformation. Next is recently in November 2021 RBI launched this Harbinger, and what was the theme? Theme was Smarter Digital Payments. Now you have to tell that Harbinger 2021 invites innovative ideas for the following problem except what? So try to read the statements and try to give the right answer. Very easy to answer if you know. So it is innovative, easy to use. So innovative ideas have been called for this also, this also, this also, this also, but not this. Okay. So innovative, easy to use, non-mobile digital payment solution because RBI is trying to digitize. Then context-based retail payments, yes. Alternative authentication mechanism for digital payments. Digital payments were the main priority in this hackathon we can see. Okay. So financial inclusion, reaching out to every household, this was not the priority. Next is recently the RBI of Reserve Bank of India has increased the limit on electronic remittances per transaction from India to Nepal to rupees what? From rupees 50,000. So it was a big news, I can say. Okay, I am getting the answers and it is 2 lakh. From 50,000 the limit has been raised to 2 lakh. So remember this always, okay. Next is tokenization was brought by the RBI and it was announced by the RBI with reference to the card tokenization guidelines announced by the Reserve Bank of India. You have to tell that which one is incorrect. You have to tell which one is incorrect. So tokenization refers to replacement of card details with an alternative code for every transaction. Card issuers can offer card tokenization as token service providers. Guidelines are for mobile phones and tablets. Tokenization of card data shall be done with explicit consumer consent. Okay, Nilesh is saying D. Yes, D is incorrect. It is not only for mobile phones and tablets, it is for all the gadgets, we can say. Okay, so here you can see initially limited to mobile phones and tablets, but this facility was subsequently extended to laptops and everything Internet of Thing devices and wristbands, wearables, desktop. So tokenization is what? That instead of your card details, a token will go to the merchant, and the merchant cannot store your card details. The merchant will get the token instead of the card details. Okay, so that is for the safety the RBI is doing that. So here you can see before the token service provider refers to the it was only for the earlier only for the card networks, but now it has been also for the card issuers. Okay, so this also you need to remember because it is an important point that now card issuers can also become the token service providers. They can also offer the token service providing. Before it was only for the card networks. So the next is, I have given you all the information so that you do not have to go here and there. You will get everything in the PDF. Next is the RBI has released the issue of monthly bulletin. A comprehensive financial inclusion index has been released and has been introduced, comprising of 3 parameters. You have to tell that which parameter has the highest weightage. This is important. Okay, which of these parameters have the highest weightage in the financial inclusion index? And I am getting the answer usage, and that is the correct answer. Usage is the one that has the highest weightage of 45%, then the excess, and then the quality. Next is RBI came up with the master circular, and it was regarding the all licensed UCBs fulfilling the eligibility criteria. Which of the following statement given below are the eligibility criteria for the direct access to negotiated dealing system? I have told you that what is the negotiated dealing system. It is the online platform, and you have to tell that what is the eligibility criteria for the UCBs. Minimum capital to risk weighted assets should be 9%. NPA of less than 5%, minimum net worth of 50 crore. So you have to tell that correct statement. Okay. So here this is also correct and this is also correct. Yes. Who has said A and B? AFS has said A and B, and that is correct. This is wrong because minimum net worth should be of 25 crore, not 50 crore. Okay. Minimum net worth of 25 crore is needed for the UCBs to get the system. Redemption price of SGB sovereign gold bond is being published by who? So we have discussed about the SGB briefly, that who can get it, what is the minimum investment criteria in that, and why is it being done, so that the physical gold is not stored by the households and it come into the market. So now you have to tell that who publishes the redemption price. So if I have discussed with you that it is sovereign gold bond is for 8 years, but you can take it out for the first 5 years. After the first 5 years, after 5 years you can take it out. So redemption price is, yes, Aditi is saying A, Nilesh is saying A, and that is the right answer. So published by, so the redemption price of the SGB is published by the India Bullion and Jewelers Association Limited. Okay, so this was a unique thing, that's why I brought for you, because I knew that many of you will get confused. Next is with which of the following the Reserve Bank of India announced a project to link their respective fast payment system, that is unified UPI with PayNow. So So they are trying to link these two, and so you have to tell that which country's monetary authority they are linking it to. So Singapore, Sri Lanka, China, USA, England. Okay, Nilesh is saying A, and that is the correct answer. UPI now is of the Singapore and UPI is of India. Okay, next is, there is a definition that dash means an OTC over the counter derivative that gives the buyer the right but not the obligation to sell an agreed amount of a certain currency for another currency. First of all, this is over the counter. Second of all, there is a right, not the obligation. Third of all, it is selling the currency and not buying the currency. Nilesh is saying D, and that is the correct answer. So see, first of all, option, because option gives you the right but not the obligation. Option means you have the option. You can do it, you cannot do it. So it is not the obligation of yours. So it is not the obligation. Here, not the obligation. So it should be option. Now which option? Call option or put option? Put option, why? Because here you are selling the agreed amount of certain currency, you are not buying. When you are buying the currency or something, then it is call option, otherwise it is put option. Okay. So here in the notification the definitions were given, that's why I have brought for you this kind of question. Next is, as part of the payment and settlement system, up to what amount the RBI has increased the daily limit of the immediate payment service transaction for channels other than SMS and interactive voice response. So it is 4 lakh, 5 lakh, 9 lakh, 10 lakh or 7 lakh. So it is 5 lakh. Yes, I am getting the answer 5 lakh, and that is correct. Before the limit was 2 lakh, but it has been increased to 5 lakh, and through the SMS and IVR the limit is 5,000 only. Okay. Next is, as announced in the Statement of Developmental and Regulatory Policies on October 2021, it has been decided to select dash as the theme for the 4th cohort. So 4th cohort, what is the theme for the 4th cohort? It is retail payments, it is cross-border payments, it is financial services, it is prevention and mitigation of financial frauds, or it is financial access and inclusion. AFS is saying fraud, Aditi is also saying D, Puneet, Nikhil is also saying D. Puneet is saying D. See, cross-border payments is the theme of a cohort, but it is not for the 4th cohort. It is not for the 4th cohort, okay? D is the right answer, prevention and mitigation of financial frauds. So I have given you all the themes of all the cohorts. For the first, it is retail payments. For the second, it is cross-border payments. For the third, it is MSME lending. For the fourth, it is prevention and mitigation of financial fraud. So you have to remember, because a cohort question has come in this phase 2. So you can understand that how important this is. Okay. And what is the cohort? First, there is regulatory sandbox in which live testing of new products happen, and in different cohorts, different themes are promoted. Like in the 4th cohort, the prevention and frauds, it is the main theme, it is the main criteria to, yes, to do the live testing of the new products. Next is PSL targets and classification as updated in October 26, 2021. What is the revised target for the weaker section target under the PSL for 2023-24? Yes, what is the revised target for the weaker section? First of all, see this, then priority sector, then this year. These are the 3 things that you have to see. Okay, I am getting the answer B. Yes, that is the right answer. 12% of A and BC or the CEOB, whichever is higher. So it is the table you can see, and by 2023-24 for the weaker section, the target has to be increased to 12%. Okay. Yes, remember this, see this target clearly. Next is WMA. We have talked about WMA. You have to tell that which of these statement is incorrect regarding the WMA. So WMA is a facility for both center and states to borrow from RBI. That is correct, because the limit has come for the government of India as well as for the states also. Okay. Next is Section 17(5) of the RBI Act 1934 authorizes the central bank to lend to the center and state governments. That is also correct. AFS and Nilesh is saying C, and yes, it is for 3 months. lending by RBI is subject to their being repayable not later than 3 months. So under 3 months they have to repay the ways and means advances. The interest on WMA, the RBI's repo rate, which is basically the rate at which it lends short-term money to banks. The interest on such overdraft is 2 percentage points above the repo rate. Okay, or if the overdraft is there. So this is all that you can see. It is for 3 months, not above 3 months, not later than 3 months. Next is, presently in October 2021, the Reserve Bank of India introduced a revised scale-based regulatory framework for the NBFCs that will be applicable, that will be effective from 1 October 2022. Dash layer of structure is being proposed by the RBI. So this scale-based regulatory framework has how many layers of structure that you have to tell? Very easy to answer, 4 layers. First is base layer, then middle layer, then upper layer, and then top. That is top layer. Okay. So this is the scale-based regulatory framework, and base layer, middle layer, upper layer, and top layer. So the NBFCs will be put, and this will be applicable from 1 October 2022. And how the NBFCs will be put in these layers will be depending on 3 factors that we will discuss in coming slides. So you have to tell now that NBFCs undertaking which of the activities will not be under the base layer. NBFCs undertaking which of these activities will not be under the base layer? Peer-to-peer lending, account aggregator, debt fund, infrastructure debt fund NBFCs, non-operative financial holding NBFCs, or the NBFCs not having customer interface. So here, okay, Nikhil is saying A, that is wrong. This will be under the base layer. This will also be under the base layer. So the right answer for this one is, Suraj has said C, and that is the right answer. So as you can see that the peer-to-peer will be under base layer, the NBFC account aggregator will be under base layer, non-operative financial holding company will be under base layer. NBFCs not availing public funds and not having any customer interface will be also under the base layer. Next is, which of the following NBFCs can be under the middle layer of the scale-based regulatory framework? So which of these NBFCs will be under the middle layer? That you have to tell. Okay, all deposit taking NBFCs irrespective of asset size, non-deposit taking NBFCs with ₹1,000 or above asset size, standalone primary dealers, only A and B, or all of the above. So try to give the right answer of this one. Nilesh is saying D, but the right answer of this is E. Okay, even the standalone primary dealers will be under the middle layer. So the standalone primary dealers, infrastructure debt fund, core investment companies, the housing finance companies, the infrastructure finance companies, all the deposit taking NBFCs will be under C. In the base layer, non-deposit taking NBFCs that have the asset size below 1,000 crore. Here, deposit taking NBFCs with non-deposit taking NBFCs that have the asset size more than 1,000 crore, okay, or equal to 1,000 crore. All deposit taking NBFC, it doesn't matter that how much asset size they have, and these are the activities that they should be doing. In the upper layer, also you can read that 10 NBFCs will be in the upper layer. Next is, recently the RBI has introduced a revised scale-based regulatory framework. You have to tell that under which layer the government-owned NBFCs will be placed in the scale-based regulatory framework. Under which layer will be the government-owned NBFCs will be placed? In the base layer, in the middle layer, upper layer, A, B and B, C. So let me tell you that it is A and B. In the base layer and the middle layer only, the government-owned NBFC shall be placed in the base layer or middle layer. As the case may be, they will not be placed in the upper layer until the further notice of the RBI. Okay. Next is, that's why I have not told you that C, the NBFCs will be placed in 4 layers. But according to what? So you have already seen that according to what. You just have to put your mind and recall that what we did. So according to the size, according to the activity, according to the perceived riskiness, it is all of the above, because I told you that NBFCs that are doing peer-to-peer, that are doing account aggregator. So of course it is according to activity, that is for sure. According to size means that is below 1,000 crore will be in base layer, equal to or above 1,000 crore non-deposit taking NBFC will be in the middle layer. So that's why you can see that according to size also, and riskiness of course, in the top layer those NBFCs will be coming that are most riskier according to the RBI. So yes, okay. Next is the regulatory changes under scale based regulation for all the layers in the regulatory structure. Regulatory minimum net owned fund for NBFC, ICC, MFI factors shall be increased to what? By March 2027. So net owned fund should be increased by what crore by March 2027. A glide path has been shown in one of the RBI's notification. So I am getting the answer from Nilesh, that is 10 crore, and that is the right answer for these three, for the ICC investment core company, credit company, sorry, investment credit company, mutual fund institutions, microfinance institutions, and for the factors. For the investment credit companies, for the microfinance institutions, and for the factors, this is the glide path that currently they have 2 crore, 5 crore, 5 crore. They will be reaching to 10 crore by 2027. So try to see this table, okay? Try to remember it. Next is, recently in November 2021, the RBI issued a revised prompt corrective action for the banks to enable supervisory intervention at appropriate time. The PCA framework is specifically for scheduled commercial banks, excluding which of the following banks. So the PCA framework, the revised PCA framework is specially for the scheduled commercial bank, excluding which type of banks, that you have to tell. Okay, so it is excluding the regional rural banks, the small finance banks, the payment banks, or the ANC, or all of the above. Nilesh is saying all of the above, and that is the correct answer. The prompt corrective action framework for scheduled commercial banks, it is excluding all of these, okay? It is excluding all of these. Next is, recently in November 2021, the RBI issued a revised prompt corrective action framework for banks to enable supervisory intervention at appropriate time. So you have to tell that which of these statements is incorrect about the revised PCA framework. So try to give the right answer of this one. So here you have to tell that which of these is correct. Incorrect, sorry. So I am getting the answer from mixed answers from different people. Okay, some are saying E, some are saying D. So PCA framework is invoked on banks when they reach any of the 4 key regulatory trigger points. So this is of course wrong. There are only 3 trigger points. Okay, depending on risk threshold set in PCA framework, there can be mandatory actions or the discretionary actions also. So this is correct. One of the conditions for exit from PCA is based on supervisory comfort of the RBI, including an assessment on sustainability of profitability of the bank. So this is also correct. So the right answer will be A and C are correct. So only B is the one that is incorrect. So the right answer is B only. Sorry, only 3. A is incorrect because as I told you, there is no 4. There is only 3 key regulatory trigger points. There are only 3 key regulatory trigger points. There is not 4. Okay. The second is correct. The third is also correct. Mandatory actions can be there. The discretionary restrictions can be there, and the C1 is also correct. So A is the wrong one, and as I told you, mandatory actions or the discretionary actions can be there, and exit from PCA can be gotten by any of the bank on 2 conditions, in which one is according to the RBI. Okay, you can read the 2 conditions, and one of the condition is this. And yes, so next is, recently in November 2021, the RBI issued a revised PCA framework. Which of the following is not among the trigger points to invoke PCA framework on banks? So as I told you that there are only 3 trigger points and not 4. So you have to tell that which one of these is not a trigger point. Okay. Two type of restrictions, yes. there are only either mandatory restrictions or discretionary restrictions. In this restrictions also there are many criteria that you can see. Okay, so there are only two type of restrictions, mandatory or discretionary. Mandatory, that will happen. Discretionary, that is on RBI, that do it want to put on the bank or not. Okay, I am getting the answer as C, and that is the right answer. Return on assets is not one of the trigger points. Before it was among the trigger points in the previous PCA framework, but in the revised PCA framework this is not the trigger point. Before, the CRAR and NPA and the ROA was the trigger points in the previous PCA, and leverage was taken but it was not very important. But in the new revised PCA framework, CRAR is there, NPA is there, and the tier 1 leverage ratio are the trigger points. So these are the trigger points currently. So the RBI said negative return on assets ROA criteria will not be put under the revised rules, and so these three are the trigger points. Next is FPIs, foreign portfolio investors can acquire debt securities issued by InvITs or REITs under the dash. Under which framework? Okay, and it is InvITs are the infrastructure investment trust, and REITs are the real estate investment trust. Okay, so you have to tell that under which framework they will be able to acquire. FPIs, foreign portfolio investors, will be able to acquire the debt securities. Okay, I am getting the answer D, and that is the correct answer. Medium term framework or the voluntary retention route, only these two. Of course, there will be no long term framework because it is foreign portfolio investors that we are talking about. Okay, so it is medium term framework or the voluntary retention route. So here is a question, and that this you can see it is a static kind of question, but a static question has been asked in the previous year 2021. This is a question of 2021 in which year was asked for the banking ombudsman. So here also RRA is an important authority that is being set by the RBI. That is Regulations Review Authority that has been set by the RBI. That you have to tell that which was the first, when was the first RRA set up. I am getting the answer from Nilesh, D. Aditi is saying D. Yes, 1999 was the year in which it was set up. Okay, RRA was set up. With the first RRA it was set up. Okay, now there is a Regulations Review Authority, second RRA, that was recently in news in the February 2022, and here you can see 2021 the new RRA was formed. Okay, so but the previous RRA was in the year 1999. So next question is, the RBI issued a new directions for microfinance lending. At what % the RBI has capped the fixed obligation to income ratio of households? That is, the households will only be able to pay that much part of their income. Okay, what percentage of income they can pay as the principal or the interest, as the payment for the principal or interest. That is what percentage can be their obligation to the banks or NBFCs. So I am getting the answer 50%, and that is right. Only 50% of their income they can give as the obligation, as the principal or the interest to any bank, to any NBFC, not more than 50% of their income. That is, if their income is 10,000 rupees, every bank, every NBFC, let it be any NBFC, they can only pay up to 5,000 in total. In total, they can pay up to 5,000 only to all the banks and all the NBFCs. Next is, everyone would have heard about domestic systematically important banks now. Which out of the following has been categorized as the DSIB as per the recent report released by the RBI in January 2022? So it is ICICI Bank, Punjab National Bank, Axis Bank, Kotak Mahindra, Canara Bank. So Nilesh is saying A. Anyone else? Okay, Aditi is also saying A. So there are three banks that is domestically systematically important banks, that is SBI, State Bank of India, SDFC Bank and ICICI Bank. Okay. Next is the maximum limit of investment for a trust in sovereign gold bond scheme is fixed at. So there is a maximum limit for the households, that is 4 kg, Now you have to tell that what is the maximum limit for the trust. Okay, I am getting the answer A. Okay, Nilesh is saying D. And yes, that is the right answer. 20 kg is the limit for the trust. Okay, so it is 4 kg for an individual for the household, 4 kg for the Hindu undivided family, and 20 kg for the trust. Next is the RBI conducted its first ever open market operation purchase of SDLs in October 2020. What does L stand for in SDLs? In SDLs, what does the L stands for? So it is leverage, it is liquidity loans, linear limit. SDL refers to state development loans. So it stands for loans. Okay. So why this is important? First is state development loan, as L stands for loan, and there is the key fiscal parameters in the working paper, that is deficit, debt, expenditure quality, revenue mobilization efforts, and the market liquidity. So on these the yield spread depends on. Okay, so you have to see the key parameters. That is the most important thing in the working paper. So this working paper is for the state's fiscal performance and yield spread, that depends on these fiscal parameters. Next is the RBI has issued a caution notice, consumer awareness, cyber threats and frauds. Which of the following statement is or are incorrect regarding the notice that you have to tell? So here I am getting the answer B. Reserve Bank cautions members of public to be aware, that is correct. Wishing is the phone calls and phishing is the spoofed emails. Here as you can see, wishing is the phone calls and phishing is the spoofed emails. Remote access is by luring customer to download an application from remote, and so this one is wrong. It is not Paytm wallet, okay, it is UPI. So misuse of the collect feature of the UPI, so that is the incorrect statement. The D is the incorrect statement. Wishing is the phone calls, okay. Wishing is the phone calls and phishing is the spoofed emails. Phishing is the spoofed emails. Is there any other confusion? This is directly from the RBI's notification, okay. I hope there is no confusion in this one. Wishing is the phone calls and phishing is the spoofed emails or the SMSs, and misuse the collect information request feature by the UPI is there. So you have to tell, this is the third last question, that is recently the RBI released the annual report of the Ombudsman schemes, and which of the following Ombudsman scheme activities was covered under the annual report? Yes, AFS, voice plus phishing, wishing. Very good. So which of the following Ombudsman scheme activities were covered under the annual report, that you have to tell. So they covered this Ombudsman also, banking Ombudsman scheme. They covered the non-financial companies also. They covered the digital transaction also, but they didn't cover the integrated Ombudsman scheme, because the integrated Ombudsman scheme has been released in 2021 and the report is of 2020-21. So of course this was not included, and A, B and C is correct. So all these were there, 2006, and this was also there, and this was there. The annual report covers the activities of these, but the internal integrated Ombudsman was covered under the important developments. It was not covered under the activities one, okay. So the right answer was those three. Next is you have to tell the correct statement regarding the repo rate or variable reverse repo rate, okay. In September 2021, the RBI released a notification stating about the variable reverse repo rate. So you have to tell that which of these statement is correct. The first one is about the repo rate is the rate at which the Reserve Bank of India borrows money from commercial bank. Repo rate is the rate at which RBI borrows. So is this correct? Reverse repo is the rate at which the RBI lends. Variable reverse repo rate is the tool to suck out liquidity, idle liquidity. So I'm getting the answer by Fani and Aditi. They are saying D, and that is correct. Only this statement is correct because wherever reverse repo rate was used too much by RBI recently also to suck out the excess liquidity. But because when you are doing the reverse repo, wherever reverse repo, then what you are doing is you are taking the deposits from the banks. So in this way, the money from the bank is coming to the RBI, and the RBI is keeping it safe with itself. Okay, so it is for sucking out the liquidity. Repo rate is for lending by the Reserve Bank of India, and reverse repo rate is for the deposit. Next is, this is the second last question. I hope you all will be able to give the right answer of this one. So recently the credit card and debit card issuance conduct rules has been released for the scheduled commercial banks other than the regional rural banks that should have the net worth of what to do the card issuance independently or in association with some other NBFC or with other bank or some other organization. Yes, Ganesh, you will be given the PDF by tomorrow, I guess, in 24 hours after the session in the Telegram channel of EduTap. Okay. Okay, I am getting the answer D, and that is correct. So if the scheduled commercial bank other than the regional rural bank have the net worth of 100 crore, they can issue the card independently, or they can do the activities independently, undertake the credit card business independently or in tie-up. Next is also regarding the card issuance only. So it is the total unsecured loans and advances granted by the urban cooperative bank to its members together with cumulative approved credit card limits shall not be exceeding what percentage of the total assets. Okay, so total unsecured loans, how much they can give? Total unsecured loans, unsecured means without collateral, and advances also, as well as credit card is what? It is also, credit card is also a type of unsecured loan now, because you are giving the money to the person, but the person will give it back later on. You are not taking any collateral against the credit card. So the limit is, okay, Joseph is saying A, 10%, and that is the correct answer. 10% is the limit. Okay, so total unsecured loans and advances granted by the urban cooperative bank to its members together with cumulative approved credit card limit shall not exceed 10%. So this was the last question, and thank you very much. I hope you have enjoyed the section. You have learned a lot and you have revised a lot, and thank you so much to all of you. So I hope you have liked the session. If you have liked the session, do leave a comment in the comment section below. And thank you so much everyone. Thank you Nilesh. Thank you everyone. So if you have any query, you can mail us here, or you can contact us through this number. You will be getting the PDF of this session for your revision also. Really a good level of questions, ma'am. I get to know where I... Thank you so much, AFS. It is really nice to know that. And do leave the comment in the comment section.